This is a stimulus check update and daily news report, and the big breaking news that Joe Manchin is not supporting the Build Back Better bill has rocked the world of Congress. A lot of different reactions. Bernie Sanders saying that Joe Manchin does not have the guts to stand up to special interest. I'll play the video clip of what Bernie Sanders said, and he is super fiery. You don't want to miss that one. Also, reactions from the far left like Ilhan Omar calling it complete bull stuff. You can exchange that last word. And the far right completely praising Joe Manchin. I'll play you all those video clips and reactions. Plus, I'll give you the latest stimulus check articles like this. New year, new money. Stimulus checks will still be issued in 2022 after final 2021 child tax credit payment sent directly to Americans. And this one, will there be stimulus checks over the holidays for certain states? Yes, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Bernie Sanders saying Manchin doesn't have the guts to take on special interest. So if you didn't catch my earlier video, you want to check that out. Joe Manchin giving his big no to the Build Back Better bill, saying he will not vote for it, and it has changed everybody's reactions. Everybody's scrambling on the left, the right are loving Joe Manchin. So I'm going to play you Bernie Sanders' video clip first, and I'll show you what everyone on the right and left are saying as well. So check out what Bernie Sanders has to say about that.
Breaking news this morning, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia has just said he is a no on President Biden's cornerstone legislation, Build Back Better. Take a listen.
I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no on this legislation. I have tried everything I know to do.
Joining us now exclusively to react, the man managing the legislation, Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders of Vermont. So Senator Sanders, Chairman Sanders, Senator Manchin says he can't get there. This is a no. He's tried everything. What's your reaction?
Well, I think he's going to have a lot of explaining to do to the people of West Virginia, to tell them why he doesn't have the guts to take on the drug companies and lower the cost of prescription drugs, why he is not prepared to expand home health care. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in this country. You got elderly people and disabled people who would like to stay at home or forced into nursing homes. He's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he doesn't want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. I've been to West Virginia a number of times, and it's a great state, beautiful people, but it is a state that is struggling. And he's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he's rejecting what the scientists of the world are telling us, that we have to act boldly and transform our energy system to protect future generations from the devastation of climate change. You know, what's going on now, Jake, in Washington is the big money interests are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that we continue to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, that the rich do not start paying their fair share of taxes. And I would have hoped that we could have had at least 50 Democrats on board who have the guts to stand up for working families and take on the lobbyists and the powerful special interest. We have no Republicans, not one Republican in the United States Senate or the House for that matter, is prepared to stand up to the drug companies or the insurance companies or the wealthy. I would hope we would have had 50 Democrats. But if that is the case, then I hope that we will bring a strong bill to the floor of the Senate as soon as we can and let Mr. Manchin explain to the people of West Virginia why he doesn't have the guts to stand up to powerful special interests.
Oh, so you want to vote on it no matter what, even if...
Absolutely. Absolutely. The American people have got to understand what is at stake. For decades now, what Congress has been doing, giving tax breaks to the rich, not standing up to the drug companies, so that we end up paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, ignoring climate change. The President of the United States and almost every Democrat is trying, finally, to address these issues.
Did you know this was coming?
Mr. Manchin doesn't want to support us. Well, look, we've been dealing with Mr. Manchin for month after month after month. But if he doesn't have the courage to do the right thing for the working families of West Virginia and America, let him vote no in front of the whole world.
So how do you tell somebody out there watching, wondering, how come you couldn't get Joe Manchin on board?
Well, as I've indicated, we're taking on not just Joe Manchin, we're taking on, do you know how much money the pharmaceutical industry has spent in the last year on lobbying alone, over $300 million, plus campaign contributions, plus all kinds of advertising. Fossil fuel industry is spending a fortune. Let's not kid ourselves. We have a corrupt political system dominated by big money interests. And finally, some of us are saying, let's stand up for working families. Average worker has not seen a pay raise in inflation accounted for dollars in 45 years, while the rich are becoming phenomenally richer. Corporate profits are at an all-time high. And what some of us are saying, maybe, we'll stand up for working families for a change. But apparently we don't have the 50 votes that we need. And I think we take that message right into the 2022 campaigns. Which party, with the exception maybe of one or two people, which party is prepared to do the right things for the elderly, for the children? And by the way, we talk about kids. I want everybody out there to know, if Mr. Manchin votes no, those $300 tax credits that have gone a long way to reducing childhood poverty in America, they're gone. That's over. We cut childhood poverty by over 40%, an extraordinary accomplishment. Manchin doesn't want to do that. Tell that to the struggling families of West Virginia and America.
So you're suggesting he doesn't have the guts to stand up for working families and to take on the moneyed interests. If Senator Manchin were here, he would say, my state is a state that voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. What I'm doing and going after and opposing this legislation will be popular. And Manchin has said he thinks all this money, he's saying all this money is going to make inflation worse.
Well, let me talk about it. Joe Manchin voted for a huge increase in military spending. Manchin voted for an infrastructure bill, which added $250 billion to the deficit. The truth of the matter is that if you look at the military budget, $770 billion, times that by 10 years, it is 4 times higher than what the Build Back Better plan is. Now, Mr. Manchin says he's representing the people of West Virginia. Okay, why don't you do a poll? It's CNN, do a poll, and you ask the people of West Virginia whether or not they want to lower the cost of prescription drugs. You ask them whether they want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. You ask them whether they want to continue the $300 payment to help working parents in these very difficult times bring up their kids with dignity. Ask them if they want to deal with climate change. On all of those issues, I suspect people of West Virginia, like every other state in this country, will say, yes, do the right thing for working families. And I challenge. I told Manchin, by the way, I'll pay for the damn poll in West Virginia on those issues. See how the people of West Virginia feel.
Is there a strategy forward? Is there a way to pass parts of this legislation piecemeal, assuming that you do bring it forward for a vote and assuming Joe Manchin is one of 51 who vote against it?
Well, the problem that we have is that obviously you need 60 votes. We have no support from Republicans to pass standing legislation. So it has to be done through reconciliation. So I haven't thought about that yet. But all I do know is that the dividing line in this country is going to be very clear. On one side of the equation, you're going to have Republicans, I suspect Mr. Manchin, who say, yeah, it's okay. We don't have to deal with the fact that billionaires, in some cases, don't pay a nickel in federal taxes. We don't have to deal with climate change. We don't have to deal with childhood poverty. We don't have to deal with the high cost of prescription drugs. And on the other side will be those who say, yeah, we do. And that tells me that we need a lot more than 50 Democrats in the United States Senate.
So there was this deal making that went on before this because there was the bipartisan infrastructure deal that the Biden administration wanted, and so did moderates and Democrats and also some Republicans. And then there was the Build Back Better Act, and progressives they wanted them both passed in tandem. You wanted them passed in tandem, and then there was this agreement, pass infrastructure, and then we'll get to Build Back Better. And President Biden said he would get the 50 votes. So in retrospect, was it a mistake to do that deal?
Well, the people, and people in the House who said that they have to go in tandem for precisely this reason, because we feared very much, not that we were against a strong infrastructure bill. I wanted that very, very much. But we understood that if we didn't keep it together, there would be those who would pass the infrastructure bill and not deal with the needs of the working class and the middle class of this country. That was the fear. That fear, if Manchin continues along this path, turned out to be justified.
Bernie Sanders pointing to the fact that Joe Manchin is getting special interest money to not vote for the Build Back Better bill, but is that it? Could just be that Joe Manchin has more Republican beliefs than Democrat beliefs, and he's siding with the Republicans. I don't know, maybe there is special interest money at play there, but I think just Joe Manchin just doesn't believe in the bill. But let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. So a little further left, Ilhan Omar, Manchin's excuse for not supporting the Build Back Better bill is bull stuff. You can exchange that last word. Definitely check out what she has to say here, as well as everybody else giving a big summary of what the right and left are saying. Check out this video clip right here.
We have Fox team coverage tonight. Alexandria Hoff with more on how lawmakers are reacting. And we begin with Mark Meredith in Wilmington, Delaware, where President Biden is spending the weekend. Mark.
Molly, good evening to you. It has been quite a day, a war of words breaking out between the White House and a fellow Democrat, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who, as you mentioned, told Fox earlier today he will not be supporting the president's social and climate bill, better known as Build Back Better. Manchin telling Fox he believes this measure is not only too expensive, but simply goes too far.
I've always said this, Brett. If I can't go home and explain it to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it. And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
Up until this weekend, the White House made it seem like it was likely that they were going to be able to reach a deal with Manchin. Now it almost is hard to believe it, but the gloves have come off. The White House is ready to fight Manchin publicly. In a statement released today by the press secretary, Jen Psaki, she writes, Senator Manchin's comments this morning on Fox are at odds with his discussions this week with the president, with White House staff, and with his own public utterances. Psaki goes on to say, quote, just as Senator Manchin reversed his position on Build Back Better this morning, we will continue to press him to see if he will reverse his position yet again, to honor his prior commitments and to be true to his word. While we have heard from White House staff, we have not yet heard from President Biden on camera. He didn't hold any public events today while in Wilmington. He's going to be going back to D.C. tomorrow. I would imagine plenty of reporters will be shouting at him on the South Lawn, trying to get some sort of reaction. But the administration is also dealing with another crisis, and that is COVID, the pandemic impacting cities and states all across the country. We know that the president's going to be delivering an address on Tuesday. We don't know what time yet, talking about what the federal government can do to help many places that are struggling right now to keep up with what's going on. Molly?
Mark Meredith, thank you very much. No shortage of things for the White House to focus on right now. Thank you.
Yep.
On Capitol Hill now, Senator Manchin's announcement resulting in anger on the left and delight on the right. Alexandria Hoff with more from Washington on lawmaker reaction.
Lawmaker reaction ranges from relief on the right to the left, where some still think that Manchin could be swayed, and on the far left, his decision is being taken as pure betrayal.
We all knew that Senator Manchin couldn't be trusted. You know, the excuses that he just made, I think, are a complete bull.
Progressives say they predicted that the massive spending bill would fall apart once it was decoupled from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "Maybe they'll believe us next time." Congresswoman Cori Bush said this.
Having those coupled together was the only leverage we had. And what did the caucus do? We tossed it.
While the dispute among Democrats continues, Republicans are expressing gratitude for Manchin knocking down legislation that the CBO determined would cost upwards of $4.5 trillion. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said this, quote, "I very much appreciate Senator Manchin's decision not to support Build Back Better, which stems from his understanding of the Congressional Budget Office's analysis of the bill."
The reality is the overwhelming majority of the Congress knows that this bill's crazy, even though there are 6 or 7 Dems that only say in private what Joe and Kirsten Sinema say regularly in public.
Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders wants to see a vote take place even without Manchin's support.
If that is the case, then I hope that we will bring a strong bill to the floor of the Senate as soon as we can and let Mr. Manchin explain to the people of West Virginia why he doesn't have the guts to to stand up to powerful special interests.
Manchin said today if lawmakers want a vote on the bill to show where they stand, then they should hold one.
So you've heard it from the left and from the right, but what is your reaction to Joe Manchin? What do you think about him not supporting the Build Back Better bill and basically putting President Biden's future election and legacy at risk here, since President Biden promised so much that was going to be delivered in this package, but not being able to follow through with it because of King Manchin? Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me give you the latest stimulus check article. So, will there be stimulus checks over the holidays for certain states? Yes. So, let's go over these states really quick. California sending out $1,100 stimulus checks to lower income residents. So, it's $500 for individuals, an extra $600 for individuals, an extra $500 if they have a family, coming out to $1,100 checks. Maine workers receiving $285 in disaster relief. Those went out, started to go out November 15th, but they are slowly trickling out as well. Then we have Maryland sending checks to low-income families and individuals. So $300 for individuals, $500 for families. And I think you could still claim those if you did not get it. It doesn't have a number here, but I mentioned it in past videos. I'll update that in a future video. Then Florida, Michigan, Tennessee, and Georgia are giving $1,000 to teachers. So teachers, some of them are giving it to the school staff, cafeteria, janitors, principals, people like that. Some are going to be $500, like Tennessee, $500 for part-time educators. Full-time educators, $1,000, called stimulus bonus, hazard pay, goes over a few different names there. Those are the states though. Then we have new year, new money. Stimulus checks will still be issued in 2022 after final 2021 child tax credit payments sent directly to Americans. So referring to the child tax credit, basically what it's saying here is if you did get the child tax credit on a monthly basis in 2021, in 2022, you're going to get that second half of that child tax credit in a lump sum. Or if you only got partial payments, you're going to get the rest of it in 2022 when you file a tax return. Even if you made $0, you just file a simple tax return to get the remainder of your child tax credit, which is $1,500 if you have a kid 6 to 17, and then $1,800 if you have a kid age 5 and under. You'll get that as a lump sum. So that is all the stimulus news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
This is the tip of the day. I'm going to tell you one thing what you can feel. If you really want something, then be a survivor, some juice. Just kidding. Be a survivor and do whatever you want, because that when someone's here for you, you can always use some help. Anyways. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you being a part of the Wise Flies community. It really means a lot to me. Show my appreciation. I am giving out $200 checks. I have details to how you can enter to win a $200 check down in the description below. And today I am going to spend some time with my two daughters. We're going to have some fun. Also, my wife is off today as well, so we get to spend a lot of family time together and do some fun things as a family. So looking forward to that. And yeah, if you want to check out my latest video from my other channels, Wise Vibes and Wise Buys, you could click this link up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.